Hello, everyone. This is the update for yesterday, March the 7th. So, I did have yesterday again as another complete day off. Again, took a bereavement day. Had a couple of them that the company gives us. So, you know, with everything, I did that. And I, again, sincerely appreciate everyone who reached out to, cover for me while had to step away from everything for, basically a week. And I mentioned in yesterday's update that I was going to get a whole bunch of stuff done. Didn't really happen, to be perfectly honest. Reading a lot of messages and having a lot of conversations with folks in the last few days, the suggestions I were getting were almost unanimous, which is basically take it easy and relax during these couple of days. And, I went ahead and followed that. The last couple of days, the most productive thing I've done has been go to the gym. And honestly, both days, particularly 2 days ago, I had one of the best workouts I've probably had in a year plus. Yesterday as well was one of the best ones. I don't know if I'm just able to have a ton of energy or whatever, or focus now to push through, but I've had a couple of really good workouts on both the 6th and the 7th. You know, I've told you before, by the way, about my wonderful school clocks. As a matter of fact, I posted several of these updates from basically this same spot. And we're now about 2 minutes into the video. If you've watched closely, this guy has stopped. If you go back, and I'm sure at some point I will figure out which update I did it in, I explained that every time that they do one of these clock changes, these guys here were set by, back in the olden days, these guys were wired into systems in schools. And there was a switch in the office, basically, where they could switch the time, and all these things would adjust to whatever the time is. The thing is, if you disconnect these from the, from a school system, and it's just a simple plug, there's no, control knob on there. I mean, unless you actually want to build one in yourself, which I don't want to do. So, anyway, so every time that you have to do a clock change, basically, you need to plug it in at the right time. So, on 1 hour back, it's fairly easy, because you just kind of unplug and wait for an hour. On 1 hour forward, it becomes much more complex. So, I'm filming this. It's about 11:40 right now. 9 o'clock this evening, that guy gets plugged in. So, speaking of, that another thing, I actually am filming this on my lunch break here for my shift on the 8th, which is going to be my first day back. And so, among other things that I decided not to do on the 7th was actually film an update even. I decided to just completely disconnect and just think about fun, frivolous things and just kind of, do nonsense. And honestly, it was very therapeutic, and I think people were correct in giving me that advice. That being said, I'm filming this update on my lunch break so that when I come back and film the one for the 8th, which is, today, it will be somewhat different, hopefully in tone, than this one, rather than if I did both back to back. So, anyway, also, another thing I forgot to mention yesterday, and in the past week or so, I've probably had 20 different text conversations where folks that I have known from a variety of different places the store, the schools, several different schools, grad school, cruise ships, 4 different stores, parents, friends, dad's caretakers, just from all different realms where I could, have encountered people that have reached out and have expressed condolence and love during this time, and I really, really appreciate it. I actually got to have some great conversations to catch up with folks from, again, all different old high school classmates, even, and, it's beautiful, and to every single person that's done that, no matter where I know you or how I know you, thank you. Thank you so much, bottom of my heart. It's been wonderful to have some conversations, and even if we're talking about this, it's still therapeutic to, just kind of talk. And so I appreciate everybody that reached out. All right. Now, again, I mentioned that I'm going to have to make a lot of life changes as a result of this, and that is undeniably true. And I am going to be getting more into that in the coming days. As a matter of fact, and I'll explain this in the next update, kind of thinking of, and given that my store works on Sunday to Saturday anyway, the Sunday is kind of Michael's Life 2.0. And, yeah. Anyway, but, sorry for the abrupt cut, everyone. I started telling another story, and then I realized, gosh darn it, that story is going to take way too long. I'm going to run out of the 10-minute timer, and it's just not going to go nearly as well if I have to cut it in half. So, refilming the last couple of minutes of this update to talk about a subject that I can handle in 3 minutes. And one of those is, yesterday I mentioned that my wonderful little ring light holder broke. And mainly the part that holds the phone. And I said that this little part that connects it was stripped. Alright. Now, turns out I was wrong. What really happened, the copper part was the part that you screw it into. So somehow the screw got stuck into the receiver, and so rendering the whole thing junky. So now I have 2 of the rest of the ring lights because of this one stupid little part that I just chucked in the trash. Like I said, if you buy relatively inexpensive stuff, that's what you're gonna get. But I then went and got an identical one because, of course, I did. All right, and with that, and I have to remind myself to tell the story I had previously recorded for this block tomorrow in the next update. Thanks for joining me all the way to the end. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next update, hopefully coming later tonight. Ciao for now.